Hey, what's up, guys? So this is trial one. I think this is week 6, and I'm going against Thomas Ibiza. Here is the ranking, and you see I'm 5th and he's 7th. This is Thomas's stats, and here are my stats. So currently I'm rank 86, and Wolf is in my matchmaking. And I'm still pretty solidly in Masters 3, but hopefully I can go 2-1 so I can secure my positioning in the top 100. This is what I'm running on defense, so I figured I'd try out the Shadow King in room 1. And the idea of having him next to Black Knight is that I know they're going to try to kill Black Knight and they'll try to kill Shadow King. The hope is with Strange on the far end, he gets a chance to revive them, and well, the Shadow King hopefully. And if not, then maybe Moondragon being in the middle, because I'm sure they would go after the Strange or the Ancient One next after Shadow King is gone. She might get a chance to ult, and that's just really to try to pull down efficiency. Of course, if Strange gets his ult off and he brings back whoever, then that brings down efficiency. I do think that Cabal, probably Ultimate's Kang, will just take this out easily, or maybe even Night Stalker, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how room 2 holds up. I've been running that for a while. I decided on room 3 again, just because it gives me the Alpha Flight on offense. We'll see what happens with my Odin Illuminati. So far, it takes a guy having Odin on offense in order to beat it. And I decided to go ahead and put another diamond and take Absorbment G19. Phoenix is in there because she'll die, and the hope is that when she comes back, she just does a health steal. That's mostly what it's for. And so it just plays a little bit differently by having so many taunting tunes in there, that maybe it'll be a little bit harder to clear. It may not. I mean, it's still a Soup 6 pull, and some other things can probably beat it. And then we've seen how room 6 can play out. It is one-shottable, but in most cases it takes 2 attempts to clear it. So we'll see how that goes. This is what my opponent has on defense. And so this is interesting. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to try some different things here. And so for room 1, I think I'm just going to go ahead and try the Superior 6 with Lizard and Vulture. And we'll see how that goes. And then I will try out... Well, I'm going to skip room 2. I don't think there's anything I can do there. Room 3, I'm going to try what Updog suggested last time. I'm going to try the Spider Sighted with North Star. I'll probably pull out Noir, and we'll see how that plays out. And then we'll go with... My thought is the Mercs for Money and Nightcrawler, since I have them on offense. I've done that before into this team, and we'll see how that plays out. It could be that I need to just try Black Cat to get rid of revive, so that might be something I sub in instead. And then so I'm going to just go in with Cabal on 5, Cabal, Ultimates, and Kang. So at least that will be efficient. And after the double sack, I'm going to try the Night Stalkers here in room 6, because I think they have a good chance of beating this efficiently. I don't know. They're so much faster than what this team is. We'll see. So that's the plan here. So my thought is, let's just go in and sack this Mephisto room, and we'll see how we can do as far as trying to get efficiency. And so Affinity Watch is still a decent sack. I figure since there's no way I'm going to use Reed Richards anywhere, just throw him in there. I've been doing that lately, and he does a good job of just being, on the same level as this Affinity Watch, not a little bit stronger health-wise. to make sure the sack goes well. And so you see here, I've already pulled the Gore Oat. That's special from Vol, special there, special again. So I'm in good shape, and then special again. So I'm in good shape. I think if you do that and then you want to come in, you just want to make sure you have something strong enough to make sure you pull the Mephisto Oat. Since I'm not using Pegasus much, they're pretty much the next strongest team since I have Bifrost on defense. And you see here, Mephisto goes. Now, sometimes, I guess when the guys have a stronger Mephisto, you'll see that they can kill this Pegasus team. He can't. But in this case, I think it's okay that he didn't, because I wanted to see how far they could go, just to get an idea of their durability against, I guess, what we'll call the regular size Mephisto, because the guys that have 7 red, it is a bit different. And so this is a little bit risky because I'm playing it out. Want to get this ult here, and I just don't remember how far away Vol is from her ult. So if I were to kill the Mephisto first, what would that mean? I don't know if it really would come into play, but the main thing is you want to go in with something strong here. I think the Night Stalkers is pretty strong to use. This is being room 6. It's like, let's just take in APOC to make sure we take the safeguard off. I don't know that I needed APOC. Maybe you can just use Ares here and it'd be just fine. Because for the safeguard part of it, I don't know that, well, when you're looking at what APOC is going to do for damage, it didn't really come into play. So I think as long as we get the safeguard off the spawn, I think we're good, because we still have safeguard. And so this team is so powerful and pretty fast that I don't think you have much to worry about if you did an Ares in here instead. And definitely an efficient counter. This is the only time it looked like APOC might have mattered, but maybe it's another turn or two without him. So that's something to think about when you're doing that counter. And so here, I wasn't quite sure what to use. And I'm going in, I'm thinking Superior 6. And I remember a different type counter, not totally like this. There's no Black Cat. Well, maybe North Star will work, just trying it out. Now, Black Cat is doing something here. I don't know what it is. I'd have to look at her kit to see how her role here is making this counter difficult for the Spider Society. And so when I go in, I'm proceeding as normal. Perhaps if North Star were somewhere else, maybe it wouldn't play the same. But see, his North Star kills my North Star. And so at that point, my only hope is that this 4-on-5 can work. You see Skrull is taking off, and it's like, wow, now Black Cat goes in, and basically I'm behind the 8 ball. And so all I can do is just kind of hope and pray. I use the ult here. I don't think it matters now. It's a little bit too late. I'm not quite sure what to do with Peter. So it's all guesswork. And so, yeah, he was blocked. And so it's all guesswork. It's like, well, what are we going to do here? And so I'm just going to let it play out so you guys can see how this is really an epic failure. On the next go, you'll see I go in with Spider Society. I'm just going to kind of let that play out to the full team so you can see how that doesn't work. And then when I follow it up, because, you know, if you do sack the North Star, or if you just sack them, period, the Alpha Flight, then that safeguard is not going to be there from the Sasquatch. So that plays a part. And then I go in with Alpha Flight, and it dawned on me like, well, maybe Alpha Flight can beat this. Now, in talking to Pat, what he told me is that if you're going with Alpha Flight and say Ares, they walk all over it. But it's probably a good chance that the full Alpha Flight, meaning using Wolverine as well, could possibly beat this. So that's something to think about when you see this particular counter, this defense with Black Cat and Skrull with the Alpha Flight trio. You might be able to go in with the full team Alpha Flight, but definitely if you go in, you drop New War and you go in with Ares, I think it's going to be a for sure win. So going into basically an X-Men team, let's just call this the X-Men team to keep it short. And you got the Black Knight. I think you're just pretty safe if you're going with Cabal. You got Ultimate, so you know what he's capable of. And you got Kang, and you know how Kang works. Especially he has Nightcrawler next to the Black Knight, so that's helpful. I think the key thing here is to try to stay on Black Knight as long as you can, get him out of there. And now this becomes pretty easy. It would have been nice to target somebody else, but you know Rogue is taunting now, so I don't know that really matters. The main thing is you just want to try to make sure you kill the Forge before Rogue can die, before any of the other two die, meaning Nightcrawler or Gambit. And so I was going to hit Gambit and said, nope, let's not play it risky. Let's just hit the Forge. Now we can go after Nightcrawler, and then we'll go after Gambit. And so it's just still pretty much a systematic play. It's just that Cabal makes this really safe. And if you don't need Cabal anywhere else, this will probably be the team to use. And so when we look at this particular setup here, I'm not quite sure what the Ancient One was going to do here. We've gone against the Secret Defenders enough. Maybe it's just the synergy with Strange. But my thought is let's just slow down the Ancient One because we don't know what she's going to do. And then as soon as I'm able, because there's no Black Cat because he had her in room 3, then I'll start focusing in on Strange. Now, I think ideally you want to put the target on where you have the most negative buffs, but I think I targeted Strange just because I was like, I don't want him to be able to get to a special. I don't want him to be able to get to his ult. And I'm not sure how fast he gets to that, even if I control the Ancient One, because he is still with Secret Defenders. And so that's why I went to put the block on him. And I figure that gives me a little bit of time just in case. You see, as far as Superior 6, they're wiping out his Secret Defenders. So I don't think that's why he tried this as a defense. I think it was just more so trying to make use of the Ancient One and the synergy with the Doctor Strange. But at the end of the day, Superior 6 being basically except for Vulture, a Cosmic Crucible team, they're just too OP for this pretty much outdated team. And we know the Astral is not doing that well in Crucible. And so when we get to this room here, it's like, well, let's just go in with the Mercs. They do have a dorm, so it's like you can go in with what I have here. And I was thinking, well, if we just go in with somebody that can take the revives, that might be pretty good. So that was the thought when I started to change my mind on not just going in with the full team here. And so as I'm looking, I said, okay, I do have Black Cat. Let's just go in, put Black Cat in the middle. I don't know if Black Cat's going to live or not, because they're not, the old Secret Defenders is just not as durable as they used to be in Crucible. And so I guess if you really want to make use of them, you use her on offense like this, or just kind of a random defensive play where you might have to run the whole team, because in that way it might be a bit stronger. But at the end of the day, she's in there just to make sure they don't revive. And so you see old man Logan just kind of rips through them. Not having to fight through them twice is pretty key. And for the most part, they're pretty slow. And so it just kind of makes it really easy to go in and just kind of knock this room out. But I think for the most part, this is just a spare parts room for him. And he was just trying to make sure he used something decent on it, considering how his other rooms were set up. And so the replays were pulled down, guys, just that fast. So I just wanted to kind of go through so you could take a look at the rooms and how I did in them, or defensive wise, or how my opponent did in them, because this was a close match, and we both probably played pretty poorly. So we had some drops that shouldn't have happened. Obviously, I could have one-shot his room 3, and as you go through it, he could have probably one-shot my room 6, as well as he made a mistake on my room 3. So we both had our share of mistakes that cost us in the end. But at the end of the day, a win is a win.